Welcome to the Higher Power Podcast, where your safe zone for discovering your true self is created. We are your hosts, Frank Sieben and Jill Humphries. The topic of tonight's podcast is believe in yourself and self-belief. And Jill and me will guide you through some of the techniques we've been using to gain confidence and to gain back your self-belief and you believe in yourself. Let's get the show on the road. We got a lot to cover here.
We certainly do. Hi and hello to everybody, and thank you for our listeners for all the love, grace and support that you continually give us. Here we are, and this is episode 10. We are again on to this subject. Now, this subject is where our inner core gets affected.
Oh yes, and we have already done 3 episodes about self-limiting beliefs and self-belief. So we invite you to circle back to these in the beginning when we started.
It's something that affects us when we're trying to do something new, when we're approaching something perhaps we've never done before. And all these feelings come up. I've never done this before. Can I do this? Am I doubting myself? I feel vulnerable, uncertain. Am I going to fail? Can I really achieve what I want to achieve? It's all about the self-talk there, isn't it, Frank, really?
It's actually the truth that self-talk is greedy. Negative self-talk can strip away all your logic and it steals all your happiness. And what it does is it leaves you with fear, with insecurities, with this, I can't do this feeling. And this can really manifest deeply in your body cells.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And this normally comes from perhaps parents or teachers or others who we look up to, who we're respecting, who we are guided by and protected by. And what we don't realize is that these beliefs are given in a momentary factor of perhaps being inconvenient for that other person, a moment in time where they don't want us to do what we're doing because it's not convenient to them. But in fact, it has a huge impact on us. So we carry this forward. And in carrying this forward, as you say, it becomes a cellular belief. It becomes hardwired. It becomes another mask that we wear. It becomes a story. And the story we share with that many people, we convince ourselves and validate everything that we aren't able to do. Whether we've tried this or not, mind.
Yeah, and it's always astonishing when people say they cannot do something, but they've never done it in their life before.
For example, when I first moved out of Wales, a simplistic thing like this, my housemate had never eaten Chinese food, but she was convinced she didn't like it.
Wow.
And her parents didn't like it, and that's why. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, why about trying it for yourself? No, I don't like it. How could you possibly know until you've tried?
Yeah, this belief got implanted through her parents, and she wasn't even aware of this. This is the danger, actually. And it's a beautiful example. The more you try to fight it, the more it fights back. And then it's telling you even harder, no. I don't. In this example, I don't like Chinese food at all. And when this happens, that's a clear lack of self-awareness and self-knowledge.
But that's a really interesting fact, because if you don't get out of that doubt comfort zone and stretch yourself, how could you possibly know?
Jill, this is really hard to pick because you don't see that yourself in most cases. Because it's so hardwired that this is your natural behavior. Or I should say, it pretends to be your natural behavior because it got into your subconsciousness without protection. So you could not decide, well, this is supportive for my life or it's not. And you can only truly judge by your own experience. I would like to bring in a little quote here. It goes, "Your journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. And if you don't take this step, or if you are convinced that you won't reach your aim, you will never make your first step anyway." And this goes for any area in your life.
Going back to my grandparents, my grandfather was a blacksmith and my grandmother was a really good cook. And in those days, those were service industry jobs. There was a huge requirement for them, and they were a must at that moment in time. And I can actually remember the belief my grandmother had was she wanted a big house. She wanted to own it. And she wanted to have a bed and breakfast that would be respected in her local town. So at the end of the day, my grandmother had this belief so big inside her. I remember her sitting and talking to me about this. And this is where I think I developed my grandmother's tenacity for taking a risk, perhaps. Because one day my grandfather was away during the war and he'd not even seen my mother. My mother was 2 by the time she met her dad. And he knew she was born, but he'd never seen her. And so that day that he actually walked off the train, and my grandmother met him in the station, she said, "Do not come home to this little 2 up, 2 down cottage." She said, "There's something I want you to see." And it's weird because I'm sat in the house that he saw, and he just looked at this 4-story house and said to my grandmother, "So you believe that we could buy the Queen Mary?" Because this house is so enormous, and my grandmother had it all planned.
Wow.
My grandmother had the furniture delivered. She had everything scrubbed and ready. She had obviously the ability to cook and make people feel comfortable and welcome. Her belief was that if she could keep somebody warm and keep somebody fed, then that would be a completeness. And that was what life was all about to my grandmother, feeding people and everything. So she had this huge belief.
And this belief has manifested in her life.
And that was inside my grandmother, apparently, since she was quite small. So, she believed she could do it, and she could do it. And that belief, I believe, spread into my mother. My mother then started a business. And weirdly enough, my father started his own business. And so throughout my family, it's been a belief of being able to succeed and doing it anyway. Feeling that fear and doing it anyway. But how many of us don't take that?
Yeah, because we fear the failure and we fear that we won't succeed.
And then we live with that inside us. That becomes a constant eating away. And you can hear so many people. Gary Vaynerchuk was talking about it the other day, that he spent a day with 90-year-olds and he heard every single one of their regrets. And when he came out of there, he said, "Thank God I take a risk every day. And if anything, that's pushed me to take more. Because I won't be one of those in those rocking chairs regretting not believing in myself."
Wow, yeah, this is powerful. You just have to go out and fail and try and give yourself permission to do it again and again. It does not matter. You learn the best when you fail.
I think I've been both sides. More recently, the other side, Frank, since you and I have sort of like amalgamated our talents together, because the belief that I could do things, I believed I had to have somebody who could also believe in the same kind of thing. From being the other side was protection from my parents. My parents were older parents, and so I wasn't really allowed the other side of the garden gate in case I got hurt. So I didn't really grow that much. I didn't have that social interaction. So I became what my mother wanted me to be in a way. And I lived in that little cocoon, in that little bubble. But the trouble was, when I actually got married and left home, my beliefs had to change because I was in that world by myself and I couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't be that person anymore. So I had to find out what it was like on the other side.
Yes, and once you've been there, you can make a decision based on your experience and own perception. That means you can decide whether does this belief serve you or does it not serve you.
But do you find also what's incredible is when somebody comes up and says to you, my goodness me, that was incredible. You have such talent in doing what you're doing. And you look at that person and you think, who, me? Really?
Yeah.
You think that of me? Well, I haven't really done anything that's, amazing here. Or
That resonates with me.
I know. I know. You can be told it sometimes on a daily basis, but you still don't believe it. So, you've got to have validation for your doubts. You've got to have what supports that validation. What is behind this belief? Who gave it to you? Because it didn't come from you, because we weren't born with anything.
Yeah, we were hypnotized and programmed until we're 6. Inherited patterns.
And that's where our beliefs and our perspective on life actually came from. So when you develop your self-knowledge, self-awareness, which is what we talk about such a lot, and we want to help other people understand themselves more and become more self-aware so that these beliefs...
Yeah, these beliefs are given to you not to determine the rest of your life, but to serve a purpose of someone else.
You can't live by these beliefs because these beliefs are going to... I think you quoted it in what you just said, fear will become so cellular inside you that you won't make that step forward. You won't do that 1,000-mile with the first step because you're too fearful.
If you choose to see the beauty in every interaction, it's your choice for life and for stepping into your own power. It is a choice to be proactive, to experiment and to really take this first step. You don't need to be perfect. And there's good things coming from this. Because when you fail, this is the only way you truly learn and gain this wisdom for your life. If you see failure as a form of, let's say, feedback from the universe or from life, then you see and you understand that this is absolutely mandatory for you to grow and learn.
The other question is, do you believe that you can change? Do you believe that change is possible? And I found this article by James Clear.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful article.
And one of the most foundational beliefs of this world is that you can become better. And he quotes, "We believe that it is possible for human beings to improve. We believe that it is possible to raise the bar in your own life, even if the world around you accepts average. We believe in ourselves and in each other. We believe that if you want better health or more happiness or a more meaningful job, that you can make those things happen. And because of this belief, we are willing to test, experiment, and try new things, even when we feel uncertain. If you believe that it's possible to make new things work, then it's hard to make any progress if you don't.
Yeah.
If you don't care about how this is going to progress and you don't have that belief, nothing will work for you if you don't believe in it.
And nothing will really move for you because you're not moving.
No.
I have a similar story I can share here from my own life because that's a studio story actually. I was working on a track. It just hit me that this track could be a single for a huge artist from the dance scene. I knew from the first steps with this song that this track will be signed with him. What I did is I put up a video and a picture of him on my desktop. So every time I was working on the track, I was communicating with this person. And it felt that we were sitting next to each other, working on the track together. So I was asking him for feedback, and not only in my mind, I was really asking him, what do you think of this bass drum, whatever that was? I was getting feedback from him, and we were even giving us high five, like virtual high five on my computer. That was so cool. I really was in my zone, and guess what? This track got signed to this person on his own label. And I knew it from the start.
Yeah, it's power of belief.
It's power of belief, and it's also because I made the first step. It all starts with the first step. And there's no judgment involved in this. This is really a powerful belief at that moment. And it's so inspiring.
Well, nothing will work if you don't. And I actually love that. That's the title of one of James's articles here that I'm actually looking at now. And I think it was Henry Ford that said, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right.
Always right, yes. In both ways.
Absolutely. So if you want to make changes in your life, I think you've got to go inside and be more self-aware of how the perspective, you see how the perspective is on your life and the mirror of your world and what that reflects.
Yeah, and guess what, Jill? You know what you're going to find out then?
Go.
That you're great.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be perfect.
And give yourself permission to fail.
Yeah,
and
give yourself permission to love.
To live.
To live, to be happy, to try, to fail.
To thrive, to love, yeah. I love it. I love all of it.
Yeah, I love that too. Because the beauty is in the journey. The fun, the growth, the contribution, it's all in the journey. You got to take this journey serious. And you have to be okay with the uncertainty which awaits you on this journey. Because it is out there. So release the need to control.
Do not put yourself in that prison of control.
Yeah, don't do that, because it will only shut down your creativity, your love, your inspiration, everything. And on top, it will separate your mind from your body.
Yeah, and that can become a prison. Because if your internal thoughts are insular, small.
Yeah, and the worst part is that only you can see that prison. Nobody else can. So nobody can help you.
No, absolutely not. And nobody's coming to help you either.
Yes.
That's the other scary part. This is all about you finding you. This is all about you becoming so integrated and being happy with yourself. Finding that fulfillment in taking action to disperse the disbelief you have in yourself that suddenly you are capable of doing something. And I think we were speaking before we even did the podcast of my experience in Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins. I've got to talk about this because we did the fire walk and we approached that room with intrepidation, my friend and I, Michelle, and on the Friday, and we were told to report and sign in at 11:30 and 12 o'clock. Those big doors opened and there we were all piling in this big room. And we didn't know what to expect. But I think I had a frontal lobotomy that night because I felt that I could have taken on anything. And I was not even bothered about walking across 2,000-degree coals in my bare feet.
Wow.
It was a normality. It was something that we were ready for. But we were watching people suddenly step up to take that first step. And they were scared.
Oh, yeah.
They were extremely scared. But then you would look at them and say, let's do it together.
Power of community. Love it.
I didn't believe that I could walk across 2,000 degree coals. No way. And I still was, even though I said, yes, I'll do it. When I got there, I'm thinking,
You told me you did it 4 times even.
I had to keep going back and doing it because it was such a disbelief that I'd
Yeah.
actually done it. So I had to go back and believe I'd done it again.
And then you wondered maybe these coals are not real. But this was also possible because you were with the right people.
Yeah, exactly.
You had this energy going. And when we talk about people, it's absolutely vital that you not only stop listening, also stop being around toxic people, because they will only convince you that you're worth nothing. They will only convince you to stop pursuing your dreams. They will shut down your creativity. And you don't want to let them steal all your energy. It is wise to really declutter your life from these toxic people and find people who are supportive, find people who are sharing the same passion maybe as you, find people who inspire you and who really can believe in you and bring out the best in you, the best you. Sometimes it is really hard to find those people in your family or in your friends. And it's absolutely vital to understand where they're operating from, because they have their own paradigm running. And it could be that they fear they are no longer part of your life. So when they try to hold you back from something, just think about why they're doing this and what could be their own paradigm. And it really could be that it's your job to inspire them.
Well, I think a lot of the things that I was always trying to prove my mother wrong, that I could do what she said I couldn't. And that wasn't easy to do because all my mother really did was panic, worry, became extremely fearful that I would be hurt.
Yeah.
So it was better for me not to do anything. So I didn't even attract any of that. So it was much easier for my mother to say, no, you can't do it at all, than even bother trying. But it wasn't that my mother didn't love me. She loved me so much. She didn't want anything to happen to me. So it became this huge bubble around me of negativity that almost drove me into so much fear of even stepping out on my own sometimes. It was incredible.
But when you did it your first time, you noticed the change. The first time you step out of this safe cushion, you call it, it was a success for you. So what you can do again is next time you recall your success and you reprogram your subconsciousness, telling your subconsciousness slowly and gradually by just repeating, well, this can be different. And last time it was a success, so let's make it a success again.
But also sometimes you can rebel against people who try and stop you doing things and you make the wrong choices, but you still learn.
Yeah, you still learn. That's true.
Yeah, you still expand, you still grow, but maybe not in the way that you were hoping to, but you still learn. And
that will help you actually to find the trust in yourself.
yeah.
Because, I mean, even if you fail, then you dust yourself off and try again. And you give yourself permission to fail and even try again.
Yeah, there's a great metaphor about that my coaching mentor taught me, and that she used to say, if that becomes a severe problem, that your belief system is failing you, reach for that suitcase, pack it with all those emotions, and go dump it in the sea.
Ooh, wow.
Because you can never retrieve all those doubts, all those things that are holding you back. Just blow it up, throw it in the sea, do whatever you like, but just don't go back there. Just reinvent yourself some shape, somehow.
Yeah.
Give yourself positive things. Go out there and achieve things that you thought you couldn't actually do. Have a go at them. Just have a go at them.
That's healing.
Yeah.
But what you just told us triggered something in me when you said suitcase.
Share that with us, Frank.
This story is all about how a returning self-belief can rescue you and save you from a toxic person and relationship. Because it happened that, how can I start this story the best way? My ex-girlfriend went away to Italy, into the Alps, and I was about to visit her by train. I bought the ticket, everything was done, and everything was planned. I packed my suitcase. I don't want to go into the circumstances, but something, the night before I was about to leave, something in myself told me, you're not going. And in this case, your true intuition can lead to believing yourself, to believe in yourself, and can guide you to take you back to believe in yourself. This empowers your body to shut you down. This is exactly what happened, because I wanted to go on the train and visit her, but I was not able to. What I found out was that my body and my intuition, through my belief, was protecting me from a toxic person in my life, which I then was able to realize.
Certainly got your attention, didn't it? Through all the body feelings you were experiencing.
It got my attention because I had no choice.
Yeah.
I was not able to move.
But also it took that choice away from you because it was something that wouldn't have served you.
Yes.
And that gave you more belief in yourself that you had to change direction.
Actually, this showed me that I have to start believing in myself again, because I gave up on myself. Or nearly gave up on myself. Fortunately, I didn't give up on myself completely, but I was way on my way to completely lose direction at all. This saved my belief in myself.
Isn't it amazing how the body can sometimes just take over when perhaps your belief system is not really functioning on all cylinders, as it were, because another person is in your life and you become part of that person so much that their beliefs become yours.
Yeah. Their belief become yours and you're giving up on yours. It's not only that their belief become yours and are added to yours. No, you replace your beliefs.
It's extremely powerful.
From then on, my belief went stronger and stronger again.
So you were guided really back to believing in yourself and believing that what your intuition was telling you was true.
Yes. Though at that moment, I have to say, and maybe this will also help people who can relate to a situation similar like this. At that moment, I was still in disbelief of myself, but my higher self knew better. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's where the two monkeys sit on either shoulder, talking to you in a different way, telling you to go one way, telling you to stop.
Yeah.
And I think the body actually says, I'm not listening to anybody, I'm just going to shut you down because you're not paying attention.
Yeah. And the body will find a way to get your attention.
Oh, yeah, massively.
Yeah.
We spoke about that and if anybody's thinking about the limiting beliefs or anything at this moment in time and wondering what we're talking about, please go back and listen to the 3-part series we did on limiting beliefs, because it is absolutely full of the science behind the beliefs, what it does to the body and what it does to the mind. It's an incredible 3-part share. So we encourage you to go back. Every decision that you make in your life is a thought, is an idea. Behind that idea, there is a belief, whether it's good for you or whether it's bad for you. And this is what will determine what you do right now, what the decision you make right now, whether you decide to follow your heart or whether do you decide that you're not good enough. Do you believe that you're not worthy? Do you believe you can't be loved? Do you believe you're not attractive? We could go on. This is just endless.
Yeah, this is endless. But we can summarize it in a way that when you doubt your power, you give power to your doubt.
We always go back to gratitude and appreciation. And John F. Kennedy, he sums it up by saying, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them.
Yes, it's not what we do, it's who we are. And if you say this often enough on a daily basis, persistently, then this can become your belief. So watch out and observe your language, because your subconsciousness is always listening. And this can really determine your future.
And let's face it, whose voice do you hear 24/7?
Your own, Jill.
That's it. It's yours. You instruct yourself. You doubt yourself. It will determine your future. It will determine your success. It will determine your happiness, your joy, your bliss. Do not take that away from yourself. I want you to finish with the fact that we found a beautiful quote, which we've actually put on Instagram tonight, by Brené Brown. That would be so great to end on.
Yes, we love this quote by Brené Brown. Talk to yourself like you would to someone you love. So powerful.
And if you can fall in love with yourself and treat yourself like someone that you really, really care for,
others will fall in love with you as well.
Absolutely. Perfect way of ending, Frank. So for me, it's love, peace and blessings to everybody. All our subscribers, listeners, Instagrammers, Facebookers, Twitters, all of you out there that's done an incredible amount of following and sharing our content. We love and appreciate you.
So this is Frank and Jill signing out from where your safe zone for discovering your true self is created. Guys, we're beyond grateful here. As we always say, spread the love and see you next week. Bye for now.